Today, I wanted to make a different video and just talk about the history of detailing. I thought this was a cool sort of departure from most of my videos on this channel, and I wanted to take a minute to talk about the evolution of it and where the products have come, the methods for washing your car, things like that. So, if you're new to this channel, you're interested in auto detailing tips, my name's Baxter. I run a website called carwashcountry.com where I really tailor all of my content to beginners, people starting businesses in auto detailing. They're just looking to learn a little bit more. So feel free to head on over there, check out all the blog posts, all the ebooks. I've got a bunch of free content as well. But with that said, I wanted to kind of cover a couple things that I've noticed over really the past 20 years that have changed. Number one is the products. If you look at all of the products on the market right now, it's really overwhelming. If you go to Walmart, if you go to any retailer that sells this stuff, there's nothing but soaps and waxes and clays, and there's just so much competition because there are so many manufacturers or people that private label this stuff, and it's really everywhere. That's not something I really saw in the 90s. I mean, you go to a store in the 1990s and you see like one car wash soap, and growing up, my dad just used Dawn dish liquid, as a lot of people did, just dish soap. And if you're curious as to whether or not that's good for your vehicle, I've got a blog post on that, so check it out. I'll link it up in the description below. But if you look at really why there's been so many products on the market, it really comes down to adding things to the soap. So, Carnauba wax has been around forever, but really these car wash or these, manufacturers of soaps that you use to wash your car really started adding this stuff in the 90s to really make your car look, shinier when you finish. So they added things like waxes, the lubricating polymers made it a little bit safer to wash your car. And then you've had, products like a lot of ceramics, things like that hit the scene really after 2007. Some of the sealants. Clays were actually used in Japan in the 80s, but never really made it into the United States until really the 90s. And I didn't see a lot of this stuff on the shelf growing up. I think a lot of it you had to be an auto detailer to really discover. But now it's really everywhere. You see it all over the place. So that's really one thing that stood out. The second thing that stood out to me from today versus back when I grew up in the 90s are the methods to wash your car. So it's more than just a bucket and a hose now. You have so many accessories that have hit the scene. You have foam guns, which hook up to power washers that can spray snow foam on your car, which is like a really thick foam that's meant for these foam cannons. And you have foam guns that just attach to a garden hose. So you really don't even need a bucket anymore. You don't have to worry about scratching your clear coat by dipping a dirty mitt into a bucket. I talk about this like all the time, but I thought it was a good thing to mention. You've got products like ONR, Optimum No Rinse, I believe it is. And this enables people to wash their vehicles really without a hose. You just need 2 buckets. A lot of people will do this in the winter when it's cold. They'll wash in their garage. And it's pretty good stuff if you use it right. Just the methods for washing your car have really changed a lot. And I think it's really benefited people who may not want to go to a car wash. They want to do things from home, but they want to be efficient with their time. I think it makes it a lot faster, but you do have to be careful still. Third thing I want to talk about, and this sort of goes hand in hand with the way you wash your car, is just the technology in car washes in general. So if you go to a drive-through car wash in the 90s, they're pretty much all the same. They have these flappers. They're sort of made from this weird fabric, I think. And those are the worst kinds of tunnels to go through because they can just scratch your clear coat. So easy to do that. I will say that the clear coats on modern cars are a lot more durable than they used to be. So it's not as big of a deal, but it's still something you don't want to do. But with technology, obviously we've seen the automatic no-touch washes. They've popped up everywhere since like 2002. There's one on every corner. The undercarriage washes. You've got car wash membership programs where you don't even have to get out of your car, really. I mean, a lot of these will have this RFID technology where if you're a member, you sort of drive up to this gate, it opens, and you can get your car washed every week, every day if you wanted, which I don't recommend. But technology really has come a long way. You've got subscription services, like I mentioned. There's just a lot more vehicles on the road too, so that's another thing. The fourth change since the early 90s, within the last 20 years, have been really the business models and related to the technology, how people conduct business. Mobile detailing has really exploded. That's something we really did not see until the early 2000s with like mobile apps, people scheduling appointments online. This is something that I think since like 2010, you've had a pretty big player in Spiffy introduce a mobile app. I think they're in most major cities now, where you can get your car washed by, just tapping a few buttons on your phone like anything else. So this on-demand economy is really something that's affected detailing in addition to a bunch of other stuff. So I think it really makes it more accessible. You can still get your car detailed by someone back in the day, but sort of had to know a few people. It was a lot more expensive back then. You can get your car washed now for like 20 to 30 to 40, depends on who you go with, but they'll come right to your house. Some of these will charge a lot more. Keep that in mind as well. But I think it really has opened the door for a lot of people that are thinking about getting into businesses. You don't have to sort of buy storefront anymore. You can just buy a couple of vans and some equipment and you're on your way. So the technology will continue to influence the business models, obviously, but that's just been a huge change. Really within the last 5, it's really exploded. The last thing I wanted to talk about, and this is something a little more recent I've noticed, is people really aren't buying new cars at the clip that they once were just because they're so expensive. Part of that's due to inflation. Obviously, coronavirus had a huge impact on everything, including the labor market, supply chain, everything like that. So a lot of people who were shopping for new cars are switching to used cars, and those used cars have to be maintained. A lot of people are spending a little more time making sure their vehicles are clean, especially if you have a fleet of vehicles and you don't want to buy a bunch of new like Sprinter vans or anything like that. So a lot of companies are actually having their entire fleet detailed. So I think the preservation in general has really skyrocketed within the past year even. I think the cost to buy a new car, it's 5.3% more expensive to buy a new car this year compared to last year. So, that's a reflection of the economy for sure, according to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. So more people working from home, more people have more free time to wash their cars. So they're doing it. So hopefully they'll continue to do it. I'll continue pumping out content on this channel and at carwashcountry.com. But hope this website is helpful to you. This video has been helpful. If you have any questions, comments, let me know in the description. You can get on the newsletter list as well at carwashcountry.com. But until next time, have a great day. Peace.